Next one is audit. What's a good mental picture for this word? For many of you, some of your parents might be auditors. Okay. There are many famous auditing companies, and it is a very common practice for companies to be audited before they go public. So, for instance, in a startup company, for a company that is a startup that is looking to go public, they might hire an auditor to review their books or review their records, their financial records. They want to make sure that everything is checked out for the past 3 years. Because remember, the stock market itself is very, very highly regulated. There are a lot of rules and regulations that have to be passed in order for a stock to be listed on the stock market. So having the company being audited is a very common and very important part of the process of going to market. Okay. Of course, you don't have to take your company public in order to have an auditor come and look at your books. Auditors are hired during tax season, oftentimes, to make sure that the accounting has matched up with expectations. All the inflows have to match the outflows and so on. Okay. Have you ever heard of the company PricewaterhouseCoopers? Heard of that? They're a very, very famous auditing company. So if you hire them, they will help audit all of your records to make sure they check out. A synonym for audit that I have, my mental picture, is the word review. Or inspection. Yeah. It's more deep than just simply to check up on. It's to thoroughly scrutinize. Okay, that's another good word, scrutinize. What does scrutinize mean? Not search, to examine. Okay, to examine. Very thoroughly and carefully. Before purchasing art or an antique, it's very, very important that a collector scrutinizes the piece before purchasing it. That way they can tell things about condition of the piece, whether it's fake or not, whether it's real or not, things of that nature. Okay? Scrutinization. Auditing. The next word is autopsy. Last week we covered the word exhume. Remember that one? Or disinter. Right? We had a fun one with that, right? So, when does the autopsy happen? What part of the process does it happen? Correct. It happens in the morning. Okay? Before the funeral, before the burial, before all of that happens. It's the first thing that happens in the morning. The purpose of the autopsy is to determine the cause of death. Sometimes they do this with pets as well. So, for instance, if a dog owner goes on vacation, they come back to see that their pet dog has deceased. Sometimes they go to the vet to have an autopsy done to see what happened. Did it eat something it wasn't supposed to eat? Did it get into a fight? Did one of its bones break? That's the purpose of an autopsy, to find a reason for death. A synonym for autopsy is necropsy. Necro literally means death. The next one, Bacchanalia. We already went over this one, did we not? All right, okay. So when used to describe a person, that person is known as a partier or a party animal. Okay. Next one is bandy. You might have heard of the noun form, which is banter. Heard of that one? What's banter or bandy? Not quite. Close, but not quite. Either one means back and forth. So banter is a dialogue, a friendly dialogue that goes back and forth between two parties. To bandy is to go back and forth between two parties as well. So for instance, if you're talking about a tennis player or a table tennis player, it's very common for two players to banter the ball back and forth amongst themselves, between themselves. My mental picture for this word is volley. Like volleyball, volley. It means to go back and forth. The next word is pathetic. A ludicrous change from the high-minded to the commonplace. Yes, it can mean that. It can mean that. It can also mean overly sentimental. Or maudlin. That's what maudlin means. Overly sentimental. Next word is bedizen. What word does this remind us of from last week? Good. Perfect. But it's slightly different from bedeck because there is a negative connotation of it. Which is what? Vulgar. Good. It has a tasteless connotation to it as well. Tacky, you've heard of that, right? Crass, garish, have you heard of those? What does crass mean? Unrefined, crude, rough at the edges. Garish means excessively tacky. Is everyone clear on this? The next word is beholden. Last week we covered the word usury. Remember that one? Where I spoke briefly about student loans. What's usury again? Refresh my memory. What is it? loan sharking. Good. Okay. It's collecting excessive interest from a loan. That's actually what it is. So the borrowers of a usurious loan are beholden forever to those loan collectors. Beholden. They are obligated. They are indebted. They are owned by those loan collectors forever. Okay? That's why you don't want to take out student loans. What are some ways to properly finance your education? To properly finance? Scholarships, grants, financial aid directly with the school, government-issued grants, work-study programs. Does everyone know what a work-study program is? What's a work-study program?
It's when you like work and it's when you work while you go to school and you can earn a set amount of money each year from that.
Perfect. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So basically, it's an agreement that you make together with your school, where you say, "I will work at the library for 20 hours a week, and that will help offset some of the tuition." Okay. Or I will TA a certain class for this semester, and instead of receiving payment for it, I will use that towards offsetting some of the tuition value. It's an agreement between you and the school where you are exchanging your labor in exchange for some kind of tuition reduction. Right. Very, very nice, very effective program. I know some folks in college that took on jobs as librarians for 20 hours a week or something like that. And of course, being a librarian doesn't involve too much work. It's not very heavy work. So what they would do is they would study while they were being a librarian, right? To help offset some of their tuition costs. Okay. Very nice program. All major schools have it.